Philadelphia's free agent plans were just laid out for the world to see, as Nick and Howie spoke to the media at the NFL Combine today and caused quite the stir. And while the media, of course, will focus on Sirianni's A.J. Brown trade quote, the biggest takeaway from Tuesday has to be Jaelan Phillips, why next month's free agency for the Birds is going to look very similar to last year, except this time with a brand new offense that we've all been waiting for. I'm Thomas Mott, this is The Thomas Mott Show. For Philadelphia's front office, the NFL Combine officially began this week once potential draft picks started running 40s, catching passes, and of course, meeting with the team. However, for us Eagle fans, the NFL Combine officially begins once Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman meet with the media and give us their offseason plans. So for this time, Howie and Nick tried something completely different, which I loved, and gave us a ton of info on what to expect in the coming month. First, though, it's your second chance right now to enter the Jordan Spector Art Devontae Smith trading card giveaway. Drop a like down below, comment Devontae Smith, Smitty, Slim Reaper, number 6, whatever you want in the comment section. Winners announced on my show later on this week, and so be subscribed and leave your comment to enter. Now, I mentioned at the top that Howie and Nick were trying something a little different at the Combine this year, because usually they meet with the media in the afternoon for a press conference where everybody's involved. And that did happen. Although this time, last night, they actually met with some select Eagle beat writers and gave some very interesting answers to a lot of the questions we've been wondering. For example, Nick Sirianni was asked a ton of questions about Sean Mannion, the Birds' new offense, and it sure sounds as good as we were hoping, as the Birds' new OC is officially bringing a brand new scheme with him, and it sounds like it will feature a lot, and I mean a lot, of under-center play-action passes, with Sirianni saying, quote, "What I loved about it is just the way it meshes up and marries to the play-action world, kind of how it fits to some of our guys that are already on the roster. And as you continue to go through it, I wouldn't say that I went in and said, I have to have this system, but as I went through it, then it became obvious to me that I wanted to have this system. The more I learned about it, the more I thought about it, the more I talked to the different guys about it, that's kind of where I got to go." And that is fantastic news. The entire past season, we were begging for not only a brand new system, but an emphasis on under center and under center play action passes, something that they barely ran in 2025. When they did, it was successful, but they refused to do it. And now it sounds like that's going to be the staple of the Birds' new offense.
There's a lot of steps to take place before we know exactly what version of this offense is going to be. But obviously, Sean comes from a family of coaches and things that he's done that we really respect, that we know is tough to defend. We know we've done a lot of good things here as well, as far as some of the things we've done that's hard to defend. So being able to sprinkle some of that in. And a lot will be, you got to go through the process with your players to get to all those answers again. And you're constantly going to try to get to it, get to where you will be by the end of the season. But really, it's always important at the end of the day that we're able to run the football, be able to do play action off of that, play physical, play with relentless effort, play with great detail, play together. Those will be all things that we're looking to do.
And it's great to know that Sirianni has finally realized this. He's looked internally and said, you know what? We have a quarterback who is excellent at under center runs and under center play action passes, and if we can use that more in 2026, it'll be for the better. He added saying, quote, "Jalen Hurts has been really good when we've had a good running game tied with his play action. I think this is an opportunity for us to take the next step within that, in addition to some of the good things we've already done through this offense." And Sirianni would also add on that, yes, they got rid of a lot of offensive coaches. They brought in a bunch of new guys, but they also kept some key guys at different coaching positions on the roster from 2025, and that is to make sure they can seamlessly blend the brand new offense and the good parts of the old offense. Not the bad parts, but bring the good stuff over, the stuff the Eagle players themselves already know how to run, marriage that with Sean Mannion's offense, and hopefully create a perfect mixture of exactly what Eagle fans have been hoping for. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fanatics Live. If you're like me and wanting to stay connected to the game even though the offseason is here, you've got to check out Football Breaks on Fanatics Live. It's a 24/7 live streaming app where you aren't just buying a box, you're buying a spot in a live break. Here's how it works. You join a stream, bid on a spot, and then the host spins a wheel to randomize which team you get. You can also pick the team you want to buy, but when they rip the box live on camera, you get every single card from your team shipped straight to your door. It's the ultimate way to hunt for those massive Eagle hits or rare rookie cards without having to buy the entire case. And literally right now is the perfect time to jump in because until the end of February, Fanatics Live is running their Fan Cash Blitz. Basically, you get 10% fan cash back on any football breaks tagged with the hashtag Blitz. And you can use that fan cash to get in more breaks or spend it on a new jersey or gear at Fanatics.com. Plus, if you're a new user, you get a free instant rips pack. I love these, with a professionally graded card just for joining your first stream. So just click the link down below in my description box to download Fanatics Live and start your collection today. Which if I think if you asked any of us Eagle fans right after the Niner playoff loss, what was our number one desire this offseason? I said, I think a lot of you guys said as well, make the offense modern. Make it look like all the other premier offenses in the NFL. Get rid of the vanilla conservative Sirianni scheme that has plagued the Birds for so many years, and guess what? Sirianni finally listened. And while I've said all offseason long, we are not going to know how good Sean Mannion is or any coach is until we actually see them on the football field with their offense running plays, it at least sounds like, we've been saying this for weeks, but Nick Sirianni finally confirmed. A lot of changes are happening, and they're all for the better. Now, moving on, and of course, what do you know, we got multiple, and I mean multiple, A.J. Brown trade questions, and they're, in my opinion, being taken completely out of proportion. What a shocker by the Philadelphia media. For example, Nick Sirianni said, quote, I can't guarantee how anything's going to play out into the next season. I can't guarantee that. I mean, I think I'm going to be the head coach this season, but it's like you can't guarantee anything past tomorrow. Like Howie said, right? Everybody is starting to get good players in the league. AJ's a great player, and AJ's a good teammate, and AJ's a good person. And so, like I said, does he want to be here? Yes. Do you want him to be here? Yes. So, hopefully that works out. Which to me was a nothing burger, but Twitter took this as Nick Sirianni didn't guarantee A.J. Brown is coming back, and it's like, he can't guarantee A.J. Brown is coming back because Philadelphia clearly wants him back, but the ball is in A.J. Brown's court. I mean, Howie said it best last night. I don't think you can go into any conversation with anybody and just shoot things down without hearing what they have to say, because you never know. You never know on any player. If someone's going to give you something you didn't anticipate and you won't even have that conversation, I don't think you're necessarily doing your job, really servicing the team you're with. If any team wants to call Howie Roseman and make an offer for A.J. Brown that the Eagles can't refuse, they're going to at least listen to that offer, and they might even take it. Who knows? If someone came to Philadelphia and said, we'll give you 2 first-round draft picks for A.J. Brown, I think all of us would take that. I think Howie would take that. Now, I don't think anyone's going to offer that, but everyone's freaking out because Philadelphia did not guarantee A.J. will not be traded, and simply because they're going to listen to offers because that's the right thing to do. Again, I will say this. I think A.J. Brown will stay in Philadelphia. His contract is hard to trade, and I don't think people are going to make these outrageous offers for number 11. But I do think Howie Roseman will keep his phone open, he'll take the calls, and we're going to have to wait and see. Now, flipping over to what I think was the best part, the real free agency questions, aka everybody else besides A.J. Brown, I think Howie gave a pretty clear roadmap as to what we can expect in the coming month. It sure sounds like internal free agents and guys who need contracts are going to be their first priority. Sometimes, as much as you want to add from the outside and you want to keep changing it up, you got to make decisions to keep players you know have played well and are already a part of your culture. Can we keep all of our guys, considering we have, for example, a lot of key defensive players coming off rookie deals in the next few years? No, we are going to have to make some choices. For us to sign them, that's going to limit some flexibility with outside players. So you combine that with the fact that the teams, because there's more cap room, because the cap has gone up, teams have done a great job signing their own players. And that's Howie Roseman trying to tell us that he wants to make sure he prioritizes Eagles first before going outside the building and signing external free agents. He's not going to completely ignore signing external free agents, but his guys first are their priority, and that's where his money's going to go.
But you got to make priorities, and you can't only do that by playing favorites. You got to also do it by your vision of how you build the team. And so we'll try to be pretty clear about our vision to the extent that we can and get those guys back and continue to build on top of that.
But he did say he can't keep everybody. We know this. For example, Nakobe Dean, to me, a guaranteed goner. He's going to want a bag, and the Eagles already have his replacement in Jahad Campbell. But that means they can hopefully keep guys like Blankenship, for example, who I think makes way more sense because they don't have his replacement on the roster. If he walks, they got to go get somebody else.
Proud of Reed, undrafted free agent, and played in 2 Super Bowls, 4 years, 4 playoff appearances. Was a captain this year for our team. Tremendous player, tremendous person. And that's how I feel about Reed.
But overall, though, in terms of internal free agents, I think the main domino here that Howie is hinting at is Jaelan Phillips. Zach Berman, who was in that press conference, made a great point on Twitter that Phillips is viewed as one of the Birds' top free agent targets. Yes, he's an internal target, but if he can keep the star edge rusher, they'll view him as a big free agent splash. And this makes sense. Like, Phillips is arguably the best free agent pass rusher on the entire market. If the Eagles retain him, that's technically a huge addition because he's still young, was productive last year, and most importantly, understands the Fangio system. And I think shifting our minds to Phillips as the prize next month is the best way to not be disappointed with the rest of the Birds' potential moves.
Well, you certainly see his fit with Coach Fangio and our defense, which a lot of times when you're talking about free agency is a big part of free agency. How's this guy going to fit into our defense? So you see that there. You've been with the guy. He's got tremendous character, tremendous work ethic. And then all the things that you're doing, you're trying to balance the other factors that go along with that to try to come down with the value. And, you work with everything just like we're here. We're part of being here. Part of the benefit of being here is the medical information, We get in situations where we get really excited, and then a week from now, we'll have some medical information that will change some of the evaluation. So that's always part of the decision making.
And again, Howie basically emphasized this was the whole plan once again, saying, quote, "We want to build a team that every year has a chance to compete for championships, that drafts really well and signs their own players, and just sporadically goes into free agency." Which tells me the next month is going to look very similar to March from last year. Philadelphia is going to begin by inking as many of their own guys as possible, whether that's contract extensions for Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, or free agents like Jaelan Phillips or Reed Blankenship. Priority one, though, is going to be keeping young players they really like and want to stay long-term. Then, of course, Howie will go out in the free agent market and look for those bargain deals. And last year, again, great example. They gave contract extensions pre-free agency to Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, Saquon Barkley, Zach Bond, and Ben Van Sumeren, with Bond treated like their big free agent prize despite the fact he was technically an internal re-signing. I think of Jaelan Phillips as this year's Zach Bond. And then, once free agency began, Howie went bargain hunting, adding guys like Adoree Jackson, Josh Uche, A.J. Dillon, and Azeez Ojulari, all of which were cheap one-year deals. Not all of them worked out. I think Adoree did. Uche, for example, did not. But it shows that they're going to be active. They will sign people, but it might not be the massive splash that myself and a lot of you guys want. Still, does this mean Howie is not going to pick up the phone and call the Raiders for Max Crosby or, I don't know, look for a Denzel Ward in free agency? Not at all. I still think he looks and he will call. But his main point, talking to the media today, is that keeping his own guys is 100% the priority versus taking an unknown swing. And to me, the Bryce Huff signing a couple of off seasons ago is a great example as to why Howie has been more conservative the past 2 years. When they don't have a lot of money, they want to keep guys they know are good, instead of spending that limited money on external free agents who may or may not work out. I think in the end, this press conference was exactly what I was expecting, but also great clarity for all of us Eagle fans as we get closer and closer to March 11th and the start of the new league year. Philadelphia wants to sign their own guys first. They need to get Jordan Davis a contract, Jalen Carter a contract, Reed Blankenship a contract, Jaelan Phillips has got to come back. Then they can go out and look externally and find those bargain deals at cornerback or edge rusher or backup right guard or wherever they want to go. And while a lot of us have expected that from the beginning, it's good to know right now and set expectations. That way, if they don't sign Max Crosby or if they don't go get Denzel Ward or make a massive trade for a tight end or whatever, we aren't disappointed come the second week of March. Still, though, things will change, and my guess is because the Combine has just started, all those GMs are under one building, we're going to get a lot more trade rumors and free agency rumors the coming days and weeks. I'll cover it all here in the channel. Sure, go ahead and subscribe, drop a like. Free agency, it's basically here, and as always, it's going to be nuts. Of course, get your comment down below for the Smitty card, giving that away later on this week. Watch out for scammers as well. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out here on a Tuesday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.